All right, we're back in Seminole County, USA at the Never Forgotten Memorial Studio on the beautiful Oviedo Winter Springs line. And I'm back with Kathy. And Chaplain Kathy is a author of His War, My Battle, okay, for the love of Jack. Her husband, John, goes as Jack in the book. And just an incredible story of being a part of his battle, even though you didn't go to war.
Right.
Right. So I want to read a quick segment on chapter 8, page 95. So when you get the book, when you order the book, you'll know what page to go to. It's called 1989-1990 Ghost Hunt. And it reads like this. I watched him change little by little. I was watching him die. The walls kept getting thicker. He drank more, but it was different. He wasn't the life of the party anymore. He was more depressed about his job, our apartment, and his life. He stopped caring about himself and us. He had to be reminded to get a haircut and to shave his face. He didn't care about his clothes. He excused his appearance by blaming his job. Jack didn't want to go over friends' houses anymore. I missed getting together with them. Soon we lost touch with them all. He stopped noticing things around the apartment. He didn't enjoy anything. Most of the time he was angry and distant. He was disconnecting from us. There's no other way to put it. He was cutting off any ties he had to me as his wife, and he refused to release his emotions to bond with Rachel. I knew he loved her, but he kept an invisible line stopping him at the point only he was willing or able to go. He hardly ever laughed unless he was drunk and found a private thought amusing. Wow, that must have been pretty tough. So that was when the real downfall.
There were a lot of really tough times when we met. You know, by the time that we got married, I knew what PTSD was, and the thing was is that all the research, I didn't read anything that it can get worse. So I figured, okay, you know, you got quirks and stuff like that. But in '86, I miscarried twins.
Oh.
And I hemorrhaged. And he went from going to all the doctor's appointments with me. I was 4.5 months pregnant. He went from going to all the doctor's appointments with me. I had to beg him to come back to the hospital that night. And the doctor was trying to explain to him that the egg split wrong. And all he kept saying was Agent Orange, Agent Orange, Agent Orange. That was the stressor that drove his mild PTSD into super overdrive. And I had to just beg him to come back to the hospital that night, and it was progressively worse. So by the time the ghost hunt was on, he was at his worst.
And so Ghost Hunt, what does that reflect back to?
Because the ghosts that come with them, the ghosts that come with all you guys when you come back from combat. And that section came about because in '84, when we was still engaged, I went to a memorial dedication. It was May 1984, and Jack was marching in the parade, and there was a bunch of Vietnam veterans that he was with, and we went back to one of their trailers and have a cookout. The wives were all outside, and all the guys were inside. And I had a massive headache, so I'm sitting on the couch and just listening to what they were saying. And one of them just kept saying, it's mind-boggling, it's mind-boggling. So I was taking it all in. I was listening to everybody just talking. And I went home that night, and I was like, I got to get that down on paper. And I wrote a lot of poetry at the time. But that actually started me writing publicly about PTSD because I put together a poem. And that poem almost caused us to call it the engagement.
Right. It was that deep, huh?
It was their, it's their words, it's their story, it's their history. I just put the words together in the poem. And it's in the name of glory. The things I've seen and done would boggle your mind. I've seen the death and destruction created by mankind, the living hell I've walked away from, but could not leave behind. It all comes back to haunt me now and makes peace impossible to find. The ghosts of the past that find me in the night make me wonder if my life will ever be right. I've tried to forget what I've done, and now there's no place left to run. All this in the name of glory, There is no end to this horror story. It still doesn't make sense to me now that I'm older. Why when I was so young they made me a soldier. And why I had to be part of that war when I didn't even know what we were there for. At 18 I should have been with my friends having fun. Not patrolling through the jungle with a machine gun. I did my part just the same, just for my country, and stood helplessly watching my friends die all around me. I felt a surge of hate engulf my soul for people I did not know, and I saw children lose their chance to grow. All this in the name of glory? There is no end to this horror story. There was no glory for guys like me, only bitter memories that will not set me free. I cannot forget the ones who never made it home, some of them dead, and others whose fate is still unknown. And the stigma that we lost what was not meant to win, most of us carry that extra burden buried deep within. All this in the name of glory. Will there ever be an end to this horror story?
Wow, man, that is powerful. I can imagine that you taking those words in and just staying up all night and getting that on paper, right? I mean, you had it, and once that starts going, your brain starts clicking, and great poem. So that poem really started the book process?
It started my public writing about it. It was a couple of days later, and we were at our favorite restaurant, and I handed him the poem, and he picks the poem up, and his hands are shaking as he's reading it, and he slammed it down on the table. And he goes, "How the hell did you dare get into my head?" And I was like, "You knew what I was like when you met me." His ex-wife didn't want to hear anything about Vietnam, and I guess I had gotten too close with the poem, so he just paid the check, and we left it. We didn't even finish the meal yet. Drove home in total silence, which we had never done. I got out of the car, and I figured, okay, that's it. Our engagement is probably off. And I figured we were done. And the next morning he called and he apologized. He said, it's just that I guess I had gotten too close. And I told him, I said, you're the one that let me in. So.
Wow. That, I can see how it impacted him, because knowing you got really close.
Very.
And he's not used to that.
No.
Especially with his ex-wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a Dr. Phil episode, definitely there, you know? Yeah, you got too close to him, and it probably brought all that shell shock back, and that's probably why he snapped a little bit. And that was his easiest thing, was to go into silence mode. And just like you said, when that ghost hunt, how he was withdrawing from friends and not taking care of himself. So going into that silence mode. So if you ever see anybody out there that's been through combat and they start to go withdraw from their friends,
Yep.
they start looking slobby, don't shave, don't get a haircut, that's a key
Stop
sign.
doing things they enjoy doing.
Yeah, they start giving away their important possessions, that's possible suicide, right? When they start giving away their
They're probably.
All right, so we're back from our multiple breaks. Is it nice when you're in your own studio, you can take breaks?
Yeah.
Coffee breaks, all right? This is good stuff. So, wow, this is another strong, powerful statement you're making. The analogy is incredible when you compare a woman as the Vietnam wanting him more than you, and you had a fight. It was like fighting against a woman.
It was.
What an analogy. Wow, tell me more. Read that section you got there, because audience needs to hear this.
I was fighting all the ghosts chasing him, demanding his attention and taking him from me. It was as if I was fighting a woman who wanted him. Vietnam was the other woman. She had him for a year and wanted him back. She wanted to take away all the good remnants of his soul that she was unable to yank out of him while they were together. I was not going to let her win. Vietnam couldn't win. As far as I was concerned, I was not about to lose to the mistress of his past. I was not about to allow her to be in his mind instead of me. I was not going to allow her to be in his heart, corrupting where I was supposed to be. I would not look into his eyes and see her reflection staring back at me. Every time I looked into his eyes, I saw the pain. She was there, calling me to fight her. Vietnam was determined to win and take him away. She didn't know who she was up against. He meant too much to me, and I remembered all she had taken away from me.
That is an incredible analogy. So that is a demon, right? So the demon's working in him, and use the analogy of a woman taking him away. So the demons continue pulling him back into the battle, and you are
The flashbacks.
the flashbacks in the nightmares at
The
night.
nightmares.
At night. So, and it kept pulling, but you were not going to give up.
Oh, hell no.
You were like, I'm onto something here. Your talents obviously came out. You can write very well. You express it well. But that is a unique analogy that Vietnam was the other woman. That was an incredible concept. That
Thank you.
You got into that. It was good. Got to pick up that book. It's on page 121. And how can they get the book, Kathy?
You can get it on Amazon, and I got it really cheap. And if you're a Prime member, you can read it on your Kindle for free. It's not to make any money. I actually had to republish this in 2012 because I got the copyright in 2002, self-published it, and the publisher basically ripped me off and refused to stop selling it.
Without giving you royalties?
Which, if you watch my videos, go make sure you see Flush Your Copyright, because it has the company and everything else in it and what happened. But I republished it in 2012 for the 10th anniversary of my copyright. And yeah, this is not to make money. This is
Awareness.
This was written to change the outcome. This is written to change your love story.
Tell me about the shirt again, Kathy. The shirt you're wearing.
The shirt, yes. A bunch of us got together. We were sick and tired of the doom and gloom and, you know, the 22-day, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, we're going into the empowerment zone. And everybody can understand the vehicle you drive, right? You have to get a learner's permit and figure out how to drive it. Learn the rules of the road. You got to do that in your own life, too. Then you get behind the steering wheel. You got to figure out how to get to where you want to go. So you got to learn how to drive. And then you're a student. Well, you got to learn how to drive your life too. Then you got to figure out how to navigate. You ask for directions to get where you want to go. There's directions on healing too, to get you to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody can understand the vehicle they drive, but not the vehicle they live in.
Right.
So this is all about, yeah, I've been doing this since 1982, so I've been basically clearing the way like a pioneer.
Clearing the way
Clearing
to
the way to
take
take
your
back your life.
And you got to snowplow because you're from New Hampshire.
No, we're from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay, close. You got to
And
move.
he was actually mad that, because a woman I work with designed the truck. He was out plowing the roads in the winter. And I was thinking about, you know, it was like winter time, and I'm thinking about, you know, I'm sitting outside having a cigarette. You know, it's like a really nice weather. It was unbelievable snow up in New England. And I'm thinking about the snowplows going out and clearing the road.
Mm.
So when she came to the office, I said, I want a stinking snowplow. She goes, for your logo? And I went, yeah, clearing the road. Nobody goes anywhere unless the plows go out first.
Yes.
But my husband was actually mad because he drove a grader. And I'm like, can you imagine explaining what a grader is to people in Florida?
Yeah. Right. So that's I like that concept. That's a good concept, Kath. How do you get that T-shirt, Kathy?
You get the T-shirt by going to PTSD Patrol, and you can order it. And it is BOGO. You buy one, you are giving one to a veteran.
I got one. I
know
did
you
the
got
BOGO.
one. I know you got
I'm sorry. I went looking for it this morning. You know, I cleaned my house just recently, and I put all my stuff away, and it's somewhere in a drawer.
If you use it for a dust cloth, you're in trouble.
No, I'd never do that. Never that. No. Also, don't forget KLRN Radio.
Yes. Now, this, when you're watching this on PTSD Patrol, you're not going to see this whole interview. I'll play a little trick on you because you know my videos aren't that long on PTSD Patrol. So, if you want to hear the whole thing and not miss any of it, my good friend Dave is going to put it on KLRNradio.com. It's going to be on Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And it's Remember the Fallen Show. So, you want to hear the whole thing, not miss anything with my good buddy Dave here. Thursday night. Go listen to it. And you're going to hear a lot of stuff that you just missed from this video.